Oh, hi there. My name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. How you doing? Good to see you all. I was just checking the news to see if anything was happening today. It feels like a slow news day today, and I was just trying to research when we might see these John Mayer guitars come out. But it's still a mystery. I've got a feeling it might be next week, and his tour starts the week after. I think he's touring again on another run of acoustic shows soon. So I think we might see them next week, but I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. And nothing is certain these days with stuff. So we shall see. I shall keep you informed. Be certain to know that I will go live the minute they announce them to give an instant reaction to those. So if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell as always. Anyway, let me start the show properly. Welcome. It is Monday. Today is August the 14th. And we have Bido in here. Oh, look at that. Ecamm's randomly changed the size again. Thanks, Ecamm. Let me put it back to normal for you. Okay, that's better. Perfect. New Orleans says hi to all and to you. Been watching your latest on Martin guitars. Enjoyed them. Thank you very much. Yep. So, yeah, I've had a successful week of a video every day. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. I'm also going to start going through the videos from the week before to give you any insight, updated opinions, responses to comments, things like that. So that'll be the new start of the show, as well as talking about the news. That's any news, the news for me, including the videos I've made the previous week, and then any questions. And thanks for joining me early today. I have a gig tonight, so when I have a gig, I have to pull it forward to 1 o'clock. So thanks for understanding. Zach is here in California. Very nice. Hope to go to the NAMM show in January. I'm hoping to do that this time. Mark Smith, evening Aaron from Swansea Valley, South Wales. Very nice. I played at where did I play there once? The Walkabout? Or O'Neill's? I think it was the Walkabout. There used to be a Walkabout there? That was a Walkabout, yeah. Somewhere in Wales I played there. That was years ago. The artist formerly known as T says, hi Aaron, hi in the chat from Ireland. Very good to see you. How's the guitar situation in Ireland these days? Paddy, good to see you in Ontario. Awesome. Mark Smith says it's dinner time. Don't say that. Now I'm hungry. I just ate bacon. I want more bacon. You know what I like to do when I come home from a gig? I make a meal and I sit and watch these live streams from, well, the few that I do watch, I will sit and watch them while I have my meal. I enjoy that. That's why I like the long form content. So maybe you can do that. That's right. Walkabout Cardiff. Is that still there? I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty certain that won't be there anymore. That was a long time ago. Rex, how you doing? Rex has been on a guitar hunt and is in New Mexico. Very cool. All right, I'm just checking my levels. Okay, good. We're good. So, yeah, we'll start with my news, then tell me your news then. So my news is, first of all, anything notable last week at my shows? Anything good or bad happen? Not necessarily. It was a good week, but nothing comes to mind that's worth talking about today, story-wise. I want to run down last week's videos. So it's been really fun to like knock out a video every single day. It's enabled me to catch up on. I'm catching up on videos. I'm able to sell the gear that I've been sitting on for videos. I'm also able to check the algorithm. Like, how does it affect my channel if I post every day and get the views up and the number of hours up? Will it increase the AdSense? Will it increase the subscribers? Like, I want to give it a real push. While I've got to get the stuff done that I've been sitting on, I want to see how that will affect the performance of the channel. So thanks for watching the videos. Thank you for, if you can share, if you find a video you like, if you could share it, I'd really appreciate it with your friends or a Facebook group or something, or a forum. That's always better than coming from myself. And if you can watch the videos and give a comment and a like or a dislike, I don't care if you can put, if you don't like the video, give it a dislike. Just interact with the video. It really helps me out. And I'm now going to go through last week's videos to tell you, how they did, how they were for me, just in case you've got an interest to do these videos yourself, So I think it'd be a fun thing to do. And also, maybe I've had some feedback from companies or viewers that might help the back end of that video. So I'm just going to go to my app here. I'll go back to the last week. So last Monday was the 7th. So on the 7th, let me see. Well, 7 days ago, I did the OM28 versus the OM Custom. I only got 200 views. Didn't do that well. I thought Martin Guitar was a popular subject, and I thought comparisons were popular videos. That didn't do so well. I wanted to do it for myself, and it was a pretty major difference. And what I've learned this week from doing all these comparisons is that it really depends on the guitar. It doesn't really, it's not like I can tell you to buy a certain standard over a certain custom. Two standards can sound really different. So it is good to compare videos. I'd say it's more important for you to compare guitars. I love that recorder I use, the Tascam Portacapture X8. This is my new favorite piece of gear. I love this thing. Buy one of these. If you got two guitars in a store, record them with this, go home, listen back, and decide which one sounds the best. And then if you get them at home, do the same thing. It's great for discovering what you like about guitar. The only danger with comparing two guitars is that you can decide that, well, that guitar has a sweet mid-range, but that guitar, the other guitar, has a harder mid-range. But there's something you like in both. And sometimes maybe ignorance is bliss, and it's best just to find a guitar you like and just stick with that guitar. Because you can always find good and bad in everything and then miss that from yours and vice versa. So be careful with comparing stuff. Comparison is the thief of joy. Then I did a Fishman video. I've got the Fishman pedals to do. So I thought before I do the Fishman pedals, I'll do the Fishman pickup, because I've always wanted to review that pickup system. I've always liked it. That did well, 645 views so far. And yeah, and I really enjoyed doing the video because I really think that sounds like a great system. Yes, it's a microphone. Yes, it will feedback if you drive it hard enough. Yes, it's a soundhole pickup. I don't like the look of soundhole pickups, but as a soundhole pickup and as a pickup tonally, it just sounds really natural. Sounds really good. I think a few people bought them off that video, which is great. And if you're going to buy stuff, please consider using my affiliate link below. Next day, I did the Cole Clark. I realized the Cole Clark is something that I use nightly, and I haven't reviewed the PG3 version of the pickup. So that got 400 views. That's not bad. I'd like to see those videos get more views because I like Cole Clark and I want them to succeed. I want them to be stocked at Sweetwater, but it's a long hard slog when you're up against Martin, Taylor, Gibson, and you're building guitars in Australia and shipping them over to here. But I will keep flying the flag. I think they're really amazing. And actually, the funny thing with that video, the amazing thing with this video, is that somebody said that the direct pickup sounds better than the mic acoustic. And that's the first time that anyone has ever said that. Now, the guitar doesn't fill the room with that boomy Martin sound in the room, to be fair. But for a pickup system to sound as good or better than the guitar it's in is a huge accolade. And I thought that was a great quote that I'll use in the future when I talk about the system. So whoever that was, thank you for posting that, because you're absolutely right. Then I compared the two M36s. That was a very interesting video. And I have made a change to my opinions of that video. I said in that video I didn't mind the better sounding guitar with the funny neck. I completely retract that statement. I don't like that neck at all. I played it some more and it just feels, it doesn't, I almost swore, it doesn't feel good. And I don't think Martin guitars should have those kind of things with them. So the guitar behind me is the other guitar, which has the smooth neck. And I put a higher saddle in it. So that's a guitar that I've kept. But that one with the neck, that really concerns me. I've made some, I've reached out to some people. That neck is also on the Saturn, those new Saturn guitars, which I thought the only way they cut the price was by not putting the gloss finish on and by printing on the new graphic, which, let's face it, probably hides a lesser top looking wise. They also, the ones I tried at Guitar Center, also have that unfinished neck. So it isn't just that. You're actually losing, if I'm right, if all the guitars are like that, and I'm only basing it on that one guitar, but I did read on some forums some people that agreed with me. If you play those models and they have that neck, you're not only paying less for that finish and the losing the gloss finish, you're also getting, in my opinion, a lesser quality neck finish, and I do not like that. And I do not want to see that on the standard series, and that better not happen, is all I'll say. So there's a little amendment to that video, which I may put into a proper video at some point. I then did the headset mic because I contacted Sweetwater to get a better mic. I wanted to get away from this. So the whole story was, in a nutshell, I wanted to get this mic without the headphones, and then you wear in-ears. But they don't sell that. The one I got, which I thought would be that, sounded terrible in that video. Sweetwater recommended the Shure SM7B, which does sound remarkably good. Best sounding mic, I think. But for my environment and that dog that keeps barking out of the window, these are much better because I can record anytime with these, and it doesn't matter if the AC's on, if the dog's barking, if the cat's meowing, if the neighbors are fighting. Right? That doesn't matter because you can't hear it. So this is the best for me. And so that was a video, another comparison that worked out great for me, but maybe not for you because I only got 153 views. Then the Tone Master, I've wanted to do that video for ages because it's a big amp and I want to sell it. So 1,000 views, that's awesome. So there we go again. Electric guitar is still way more popular than acoustic, but I love talking about acoustic guitars. But I also love electric guitar, and that got the most views at 1,000 views. So I'm very happy about that. The barcode thing, I just thought I'd try a lesson type video, and that did well. I got 330 views. I'm happy about that because over time I might have to transition more into that kind of video. I can't just keep reviewing gear. The only reason I'm doing all these gear reviews now is to sell stuff, honestly. So I do eventually want to like morph into maybe a different kind of channel, and that's promising at 330 views. And then today's video, again, another comparison I thought would be really interesting. OMM and HDC, only 92 views. Not bad, but not great. So I'm not sure. The Martin comparison thing has been quite a bit of a weak link. Seems like electric guitar. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, is to give you any additional information, and also those that are interested in doing YouTube videos. This is what I'm now doing. I'm looking back and deciding which ones worked and which ones didn't. So really, it seems to me I should do more electric guitar stuff, keep up with the pickup stuff, and maybe try some of these other videos like the lesson that I did. So that was a good week. A nice sort of varied mix of videos. And if I look at my stats, everything is up as you'd expect because you've got more stuff for people to watch. And yeah, and most importantly, I really enjoyed doing them. So thanks for watching them. And you know, I said in one video, I can only keep doing them if people watch them. If I don't get any views on the video, if I do a video every day, I can't keep doing it because I'm gigging full time and I'm doing these videos every day. I'm not complaining, by the way. I've really enjoyed it, but basically I've had no time for anything else. But I like that. It's kept me busy. It's given me a new purpose. And when you make a video, you feel very creative. So if you don't, if you haven't made a video, you should try it. It's really rewarding. And the biggest tip I'll give you is get an easy to use rig. So I now have a really simple rig, which I may make one of my videos on actually. But basically, I come in this room, I turn the lights on, I turn the camera on, I turn the Ecamm Live on, I turn the headset on and the Apollo interface, and I just hit record and go. And what you see here, I just edit down a little bit on the Mac, which is very fast on this M1 chip. Edit that down and add my subscribe thing at the end and upload it, and I'm done. And that is important. Someone was talking the other day, I think it was the Tone King, was talking about how he used to make videos in 2006 with a camcorder. I could never do that. I could never live in a place where I've got to set up a camcorder, record audio separately, sync it together, take that camcorder footage off, digitize it, sync the audio, edit it on a slow computer that keeps crashing. I could never do it. I could never make videos like that. For me, this rig I have here is just fantastic. The room is pretty quiet. The headset gets rid of any other noise. There's no fan noise. The computer's faster editing. The new M3 Max that should be coming soon will be even faster. I do get some slowdowns. I can't wait for the day that I just get zero slowdowns and just like, I can just make a video and do it. And then some people just make a video and upload it, or some people just go live. So consider going live as well. And that brings me to one more thing, a little thing I want to ask you about. I'm thinking about doing another fundraiser for Maui, because the last fundraiser was really successful. We raised over $1,000. And by the way, this is all legit. If I go live on here and do a fundraiser, what happens is it's all done through YouTube, and they don't take commission. If you send me a super chat, they do take a commission, which I'm completely okay with, because they're giving me this platform. They're not charging me to do this, right? So I'm okay with them taking a commission. If we do a fundraiser, they don't take any commission, and all the money goes straight to that charity, and all the charities are verified. So I've checked. There is a charity that's helping out in Hawaii right now, and I think it'd be a great use of the platform to do a benefit. So I said I would do a live stream concert every 1,000 subscribers. So this will just be an additional one that I'll do sometime this week or next week. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. Let me know. The last one we did was really successful. We did really well. Everyone was really generous, and it just feels like a good thing, because I'm here to help you with gear choices and your shows and everything, and just to have fun. But also, a lot of this channel is talking about buying stuff and all this kind of thing. I think it's nice to use the time and use this platform as a way to help other people as well. So we're helping each other by being here we're all friends, and we're helping each other with choices for our gear and everything. But I do think it's great when you do these fundraisers for really important things, to do them and to use the platform for a really positive thing. I don't know, just feels like something good to do. Let me know if you think we should do it, and I'm probably gonna do it. I just want to see what people think before I put all the wheels in motion. So that's my week. Let's take your questions now. Ask your questions in the chat, or any topic you want to discuss, and we'll discuss it. All right. So I said hi to Rexomatic, and Patsy Smith's in Suffolk, and Mark was in Cardiff 30 years ago. Wow, how the time flies, right? Zach enjoyed the mic shootout. Well, I'm glad, you see, because not many people watched it, but if it helped one person, it was worth doing. And I always say this sounds silly, but these videos are often for me as much as you, because I am also using it as a way to document and compare. So let's say next year I suddenly think to myself, oh, I want to buy this piece of gear, and let's say I want to buy a Tone Master next year. I can watch the video back, and I'm basically telling myself, hey, you like this, this, and this, you didn't like this. And that might then tell me whether I should buy one again or not. That's why I make the videos. I wish I had videos from back in 2016, because I had some really cool guitars and I would have that record of them. I don't have a record of that stuff, and that's annoying. So that's another reason to make videos. You kind of document this stuff, and that's not just your memory anymore. You can go back and watch it again and see what works for you. All right, we've got a first question from Tanner. This is a good one too. Just let me have some tea. I've got a performance tonight. I've got to keep myself ready. If you had to buy one right now, which are you buying? The Quad Cortex or the Kemper? Well, I own a Quad Cortex, and I considered buying a Kemper because they've just... Okay, I'll give you the whole story. This is a really good topic. I've talked a lot about why I own a Quad Cortex. In a summary, it's small, it's portable, it's the latest thing, it's cool, it's easy to use, it sounds great, all right? And it does all the mic input. It's got 4 inputs. So it's just, I sat down a few months ago and decided what's the best modeler for me, and that was that. They're very slow with updates, but there's a big update coming soon, and then there's the editor coming soon. So I think I still love that thing, and I'm excited for the future, even though the future is taking way too long. The Kemper is very old now, but still has a great layout, sounds great, and is still a great option. In some ways, it's better than the Quad Cortex. It's more mature. It's kind of got a better layout to use at gigs. And the new update they just released is amazing. They've added USB recording. They've added these new profiles with the correct tone stacks, and the price has dropped. So because of that firmware update, I actually ordered one from Thomann for a really cheap price, and I cancelled it because I thought, no, Aaron, you don't want it. You just want to try it. You're happy with the Quad Cortex. These updates are coming. Stick with the Quad Cortex. It's best for what I do. It's best for my guitars as well, because I need 2 inputs really, and I sing, so I need a mic input. But I think they're both great. If you can find a mint used Kemper stage or similar, that's a heck of a product to use at your show, whatever, recording and shows. I love the Quad Cortex because it's got the models as well. I love the models. Although, again, I'd love to use that new Kemper software where you've got the actual correct tone stacks with some official captures. I bet that could sound great. But I do like the format of the Quad Cortex. I think if I was buying today based on both of them right now, I would still go with Quad Cortex. I love the models sound amazing in that thing. The models sound so good. And if you look at my channel, I compared a real JP2C to the model in the Quad Cortex, and I felt they were completely identical. At least the 2 amps going direct into an IR was identical. So very impressive. The format's amazing. Yes, the switches are a bit close together. You know, so the Kemper stage is, if you're a bit more old school and you want to, if you're gigging every night and you've got big feet, the Kemper stage may still be a way to go. But the Quad Cortex for me is more exciting, sounds really great, and has more potential. But don't buy products based on potential. Buy products based on their usefulness. So that kind of gives the edge to Kemper. But I've got a really good feeling about the Quad Cortex because although they're really slow to update it, every update they release is really well done. So what you might want to do is wait 2 months. If the Quad Cortex by then has what they've promised or said they'll have, which is another update, the beta of the editor, and starting to release their plugin support, I would get a Quad Cortex, no questions asked. If they don't, if there's any kind of weird hiccups, I would maybe consider getting a used Kemper, especially if you can get one for like I mean, if you can find one for $1,000, get that. You won't regret it. But yeah, it's a tough one to say because I really like, but I do honestly like both of them. They both have their pros and cons. But I own the Quad Cortex, and I guess that's what I would buy. Thanks, Bernard. Mark says, still researching PA systems. The Evolve 30M has an SPL of 123 and the 50M is 127. In real terms, is that a big volume difference? Yeah, actually, that's like a massive volume difference. You're also going to get a bigger sound from the 50. I think sometimes we look at those numbers and it's not realistic. Like, do you need that kind of volume, especially with a tower system that's going to spread the sound very well anyway? I just got a warning on my watch that I was playing at 90 decibels on Saturday night, and that can damage your hearing. So do you really want to go to 127 decibels? Maybe if it's in front of you and you're playing a massive room or massive field, right? I don't think it really matters. I think the biggest thing for me is the 50M. There's 2 things. The 50M is going to have a fatter sound because it's got bigger speakers and it's a bigger box. You're going to get a fatter sound from it for sure. You have the headroom if you need it, which is nice, but also you can link 2 together and combine the mixers on the 50M, not the 30M. So the only reason I wouldn't get the 50M is the additional weight. If it's going to live in your car and you're going to have a trolley for it, then get the 50, no questions asked. If portability is important to you, then I would go for the 30. But along those lines, I'm going to try something at my gig today. I haven't been using the Bose S1 Pro Plus at this place I'm playing tonight because it's a bigger room with a high ceiling, and I've been taking the Everse, and I can max out the Bose quicker than the Everse because the Everse is rated on paper like 15 dB louder, and it does seem to have more headroom. But I love the Bose, so I'm going to take the Bose tonight, and even though the numbers are lower, I'm going to see if it does the job because that's all that really matters. Does the speaker do the job? All these decibels and things, it doesn't really matter if it, I mean, it does matter, don't get me wrong, but what really matters is, does it do the gigs that you do? I think it's a mistake sometimes to buy a product thinking that you might need it to do something in the future that realistically you're not going to be doing. You got to be very honest with yourself. So I think that the Bose S1 Pro Plus will do all the gigs that I currently do, but I haven't been brave enough to try it yet. So I need to try it. And I'm probably going to, when I do that, I'm going to take both speakers because this is an important gig for me. I don't want to have any sort of problem. I didn't see why I would have a problem, but I guess more on me. Like, how do I feel playing it in there? So I'm going to take both tonight, and I'm going to see if the Bose does that room. If it does that room, it'll do a bar easily. So I'll use that to inform my next Bose S1 Pro Plus review, because I haven't done a proper review of it yet. So it's really hard. It's really hard with this stuff. We all want to get the bigger one. We all want the bigger sound. The only reason we buy the smaller stuff, I know it's money, but isn't it weight and portability and convenience? We all want something that weighs 10 pounds and sounds like something that weighs 1,000 pounds, but that will never happen. There's always that compromise in there somewhere. And then there's the features as well. Does the speaker have all the features? The Bose doesn't have phantom power, which is a deal breaker for some. I never need it, so it's not a deal breaker for me. And then there's people that will say, well, I may need it, so I'm not going to buy it. But again, you're buying based on what you may need. And that's not, that for me, that never works out. It's just that it becomes a feature I never use. But, that's tough. I would, like I said, I would go for the 50 if you can, if the weight is okay. Hi, Guitar Man. Good to see you in North Carolina. Graham says, I think a lot of it is also which guitar feels the best to you and sounds decent. If it sounds amazing but doesn't fit you, then it will be a hindrance to playing. Yeah. Feel is everything, but like in the video I'm making today for tomorrow's video, something that's always on my mind. This is always on my mind. People, we get used to things. The amount of times that we get used to something. So you get used to an HD28, and then you go to a store and someone hands you an OM28 and says, this is the best guitar I've ever heard. And straight away, your body and your brain just goes, oh, hang on. Oh, it doesn't feel right. Oh, it doesn't sound, because your brain is used to that sound. It's like when you give up sugar and then you eat fruit a month later. It's so sweet. It's overpowering, because before you were so used to the taste of sugar. We get used to things. And you've got to remember that when you're trying gear. Sometimes you might need to play something for a month. And when I first got my Cole Clark, I wasn't completely so. It wasn't like I just picked it up and went, wow, this is the best guitar I've ever played. I liked it a lot. I had a good feeling about it, which for me is very important. But then it took me actually playing it for like a month and just really just making myself play it basically and take it to the gig. Then it just fit me like a glove. Now I love that thing. You really have to give stuff a chance. You can't just buy something and make a decision immediately unless you really don't like it. I think nearly everything requires a bit of a break-in period. And be careful with that. I'm not saying to miss your return policy, return window. I'm not saying to overlook things you don't like, but we do have to get used to things. That's happened to me so many times, so that's why I'm saying it. Zach says, what's my opinion on isolation booths? I mean, I'd love one. I could have one in here. Do I need one? I'm not recording that often, and when I do, I might use the dynamic mic anyway. So I think they're nice to have, but at the end of the day, they're expensive and take up a lot of room. I'm not doing professional recordings. I don't think I need them. The recordings I've done here, like the Gambler and Shallow, I think they sounded fine. But definitely recommended if you can have one. If you can have a room that's treated correctly, that's the most important thing. If you can also have a booth or even anything like those shields or anything to help, even a closet with things hanging around you. Of course, anything that deadens that sound is important. The best way to test this is to clap your hands in the room right now. If I do that in the bedroom because there's nothing on the walls, it goes ring, 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 ring. If I do it in here, it stops dead. So do that for me right now if you're at home. No, actually, wherever you are right now, unless you're driving with your hands on the steering wheel, clap your hands loudly together. Do you hear any resonances in the room? If you do, then just put up some curtains and some foam and anything you can get and carpet on the floor, anything you can just deaden that room with. And then when you come to record, you haven't got those in the signal path. But as for isolation booth, yes, I'd love one. But the problem with me is it will take up so much space in here that it will then be at the cost of everything else I do in here. So I can't justify it right now. But yeah, definitely worth it if you value that. If you value the recordings, I would consider it. Philip McKnight says that acoustic guitar videos just do not do well. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. Well, I agree. I think he means they don't do so well for him, because I think he is known more for electric guitar. At the end of the day, there are people like the Acoustic Life channel that has, I always tell people this, the Acoustic Life channel has 500,000 subscribers-ish. There we go. So there is a market for these videos, but it's easier to get the traction on the electric videos. I can't believe that my Tone Master video got 1,000 views when it's been out for years already. I wasn't even the first to get a video up. It's been out for a long time. I did post it in their group. Maybe their group are more into the video thing. Some groups on Facebook don't let me post videos anymore. They don't allow it. I guess you're stepping on their toes in a way, and they want you to stay in their group and not send people other places, which I understand, but that's a good way to promote videos. And I don't go around just dropping videos. I only do it if they're related to the group, by the way, but I understand both sides of that. So, well, yeah, there are just more people. Like if a new Helix came out today and I made the video, it would get 30,000 views if I had the first video. If a new Martin comes out today and I get the first video, it might get a few thousand. That's just the way it is. But I do believe there's a niche for acoustic if you can find those people. They're out there, but I don't know. We'll see. I need to do more videos to decide if that's true or not. Graham says, I've got the same setup. Ecamm is fantastic. I also use Camo, so I use my phone. Yep, I got that too. I can use the phone as a camera. Yep. But the camera on the phone's good. What I do lately is just record on the phone and then just drop the video into Ecamm. But yeah, I like recording everything in real time, like you say. Use Camo in real time. When you record everything in real time, it's great because you've basically done the video. If you don't make any mistakes, you can just upload that video and you're done. And that's so important because the worst thing about a video really is the editing. The editing takes way longer than actually making the video. And that's why everyone loves these live streams now, because I'm going live. This is it. I'm done. By the end of this video is done. I'd like to go back and edit it, but that was a live stream, so I'm not going to. With the pre-recorded videos, I want to take out the mistakes and edit it down and make it more of a polished thing, you know? It's nice. And I think people prefer watching those. Well, I've been told people like both. Some people like to sit and watch a live stream for hours just in the background while they clean. Some people like to watch a 5-minute video, get the information and move on. So I'm trying to do a mixture of the two. Hi, Sergio. Good to see you. Brilliant idea to do the fundraiser. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Why not? It's a good way to use the platform to raise some money to help other people. And I've actually got a few of the venues I work at are connected with Hawaii, and they're doing things too. So I feel like it's the right thing to do. And maybe I'll ask them to come on board somehow. I don't know how I would do it, but I'm still thinking about it. But there is an official charity link through YouTube. So when I'm ready, I'll set that up and I'll advertise the date on the channel. And please tell people to come and join in. Paddy says, I use the same logic for my gigs. I used to use 2 speakers, 2 stands, 2 monitors, and a mixer. Now I place my amp on a case of beer. It's all about minimizing the trips to and from the car. Yes, I agree. You know, I do prefer a stand, but that's a hassle to take a stand. That's why those tower systems are attractive, because the stand is built in, basically. But I do think a stand helps get rid of that bassiness and also gets it higher up to project the sound out. So I like to have a stand when I can. But yeah, compact gear, the gear that does the job. You don't need gear that can do more. You know, like with my K8.2 QSC, I always run it on 12 o'clock. I never turn it up. So there we go. That thing is probably 130 dB. I only ever run it at, say, 105. So do I need 130? I mean, it's nice to know you've got it, but I never, ever, ever turn it up from there. Maybe like once every 3 years. So it seems a bit overkill to have that for every gig. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have more than you need, but don't base everything on it. Danielle says, on the Jazz forum, I saw a post where the guy said Deluxe reverb was not loud and clean enough. He's happy lugging a twin reverb to the gig. He was playing next to a Hammond with a Leslie speaker. Yeah, that's the great thing. Well, you see, again, comparing two things. The twin doesn't break up on full wattage. It just stays clean. That's great for cleans. That's not great if you're putting drive pedals into it and want that natural compression. Deluxe reverb will add that natural compression because it's got less headroom, but it won't stay clean as long. But it's smaller and lighter, but it doesn't sound as big. Again, what are you going to choose? It's really tough. And there's like 5 different tone masters, and they're all got different pros and cons. The great thing with those, though, the line out sounds really good. So I'd probably get the Deluxe reverb if I was doing it again, and just run it into the PA and just have it behind me at a lower volume for stage monitoring, because that would be so light and so portable. But the twin is nice with the feet built in and everything. I know it's a lot of this stuff is just down to you. You know, we all want different things, but they are impressive. But watch that video I made. I'm not going to go over all the points I made again, but I do think there's a few things they could add to a new version. Hi, Quentin. How you doing? Sergio, in my opinion, it's much more interesting to program hardware, but this, of course, introduces certain weighty difficulties into the creative process. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Sergio. Quentin James says, Aaron Short Music, I use a Digitech RP360 for my YouTube videos. Can we still be mates? No, it's got to be a Quad Cortex. Hey, if you get a good sound, that doesn't matter what you use, right? Charlie, how you doing? Good to see you here. Has anyone had experience with the Fender Princeton or Deluxe Tone Masters, and how convincing are they tonally? Wow. Good question. In the lockdown, I owned that hand-wired Princeton. Great amp, but again, didn't get clean enough for me. Wasn't clean enough, so I sold that. And the Princeton Tone Master will be so light, but again, it won't have that headroom. I don't really see the point of the Princeton one because it's going to be really light, but not much stage volume. I don't really understand it. The Deluxe, I think, is the sweet spot. It should have enough clean headroom. It's a bit of a bigger box, should give you a fatter sound without being as big and bulky as the Twin. I think if I did it again, I'd get a Deluxe Tone Master. And what I'd love to do at some point, but this would have to be a sponsored video, Deluxe and Tube Deluxe, back to back, in a loud room. I would with a drummer. I'd love to do that video. From as far as I can tell, I haven't compared this one to a real Twin, so I don't know the Tube Twin, so I don't know. I watched other people's videos, and the distortions don't sound as good to me through it as the cleans. But then again, like I said in the video, the Twin really is more of a clean amp anyway. You don't really buy that to do distortion as such. But the comparison videos I heard from other people, I prefer to drive in the high gain stuff in the tube amp. But like I said in my video, I never buy the tube amp version because it's too heavy. So the video I'd like to do at some point, if I could do it, would be Deluxe Tube versus Deluxe Solid State. Is it worth it? Because the tube version's not that heavy anyway. Is it worth getting the solid state one? Because the solid state one does give you that wonderful line out and is even lighter to move around. I don't know. I'd have to compare them, but I really like the Twin. It excels at cleans, but a lot of solid state amps excel at cleans. The Jazz Chorus amp is known for cleans, right? So, yeah, that's all I can tell you. Sergio says, instead of all this, I could buy an Ableton Push and MIDI keyboard, but I've rather biased attitude towards software. Software, can you give me more information? Software on what? I think I'm behind in the chat. Mark Smith says, for small gigs looking at the Everse 8, I've been using the Everse 8 very successfully for the last 12 months. I highly recommend it. It's probably one of my favorite small battery-powered speakers. But like I said, I'm taking the Bose tonight to see how that fares, because I like the tone of the Bose overall, but I like the added headroom of the Everse 8. But do I need the headroom? That's why I'm going to take the Bose tonight to see if it will do this large room that I'm playing. And we were talking earlier about electric versus acoustic guitar video. You know what my most popular videos are on my channel, actually, is the acoustic IR comparison video is my most popular video. So there is a market for acoustic and technology, which is a weird combination these days, or at least a rare combination. Some of my most popular videos are the PA speakers, I think, because they also appeal to DJs as well. So need to do more of those. And I've got that big one coming up. I told you about it last week. I'm also researching what is your choice between the Evolve 50 and the Maui 28G3. I haven't tried that, and I haven't tried the 50M either. I've briefly tried the 30M. Sounds really good. I can only imagine the 50 sounds even better. That's the video I've got to eventually do. I don't even use the tower systems. I still use the K8.2, the CP8, and the Bose and the Everse. The Bose S1 Pro Plus and the Everse. That's what I use at the moment. I want to try the towers. I really want to try a Bose tower, the EV tower, and maybe one other in a comparison video. We'll see how the battery comparison speaker shootout goes next week. I think it'll be next week if we're going to film it, or at least very soon. We've got to figure that out. If that goes really well, I might see if someone wants to do the bigger ones somewhere or somehow. I need help with that because I can't buy 3 tower systems just to make a video. Quentin says, back in the day, we played with Collective Soul and their onstage side fields were bigger than our entire PA. Yeah. It's amazing when you get on a big stage and they have the big powered monitors and the sound engineer and everything. But the problem with that is you're not going to take that to a bar gig. You know, again, it's all like it's installed in the venue, right? And even then, that's no guarantee it'll sound good because you haven't got control over the sound. So sometimes it's better to have a single speaker in your own mixer. Brian says, I play every week in a bar that holds 300. I just run a line out of the old Bose S1 Pro into the house system. Gives you more than enough coverage. Oh, yeah, of course. If there's a house system, then you're golden, right? And so many venues now do have a house system. And that's a real help. So the speaker just becomes your monitor, basically, and just a little bit of energy in the room. I don't like when you have these house systems with no full PA, like the little tiny speakers around the room, because it's not enough. That's really for like background music. So I do think you need something like the Bose to give you that energy next to you and then go through that house system. Even when I use the in-ear monitors, I still want where I'm playing to have a little bit of energy coming from that area of the room. Defcon, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Are you going to NAMM this year in January? So Guitar Man says, I remember the first time I played a soft V-neck, I thought, wow, it feels awkward. What's wrong with it? Now guitars without a soft feel awkward. Exactly. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. If you give something different at some time, you might prefer it. But it's up to you whether you... I'm not telling you to do that. It's up to you if you want to do that or not, because there's a risk involved and there's a acclimation period involved, right? So that's your choice. But it does happen, so at least be open to it, is what I'm trying to say. Joe says, I own the Evolve 50M and love the sound, but was wondering if the sound from the 28G3 is equal to the Evolve 50 in clarity and volume. From what I've heard, there's not much that beats the 50M. It's an amazing system, apparently. I'd like to compare it to the Bose, the biggest Bose, the 32 with a separate sub. That might give it a run for its money, but again, the problem with these two products is the Bose requires the external Bose mixer, where the JBL has a mixer and app built in. So they're very different products. And a lot of this gear is not even comparable because they have completely different feature sets, you know. And I always say I think the companies do that on purpose to make us try all of them and buy all of them. Sergio, whether you like it or not, but when you pick up electric guitar, this is the beginning of your programmer career. Such habits are now dictated by business contemporaries. I'm still lost. Said by a person who's been trying to change profession for about a year in the IT market. Okay. What is the average of usable backline? What do you mean? Average volume, average price? I need more information, people. I don't know. I'm still waking up. I only had one coffee. I've been having espressos lately. I need one today. I love to start my morning off with a quad espresso. Awesome. Didn't get one today, and I'm starting to get the jitters. Jim Waller, I have a new Boucher Goose coming. I haven't played those yet. I ordered it with the K&K. Should I do the LR Hi-Fi instead? I know you've reviewed and plan on watching these ASAP. Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. Well, the thing is, I just have to be blunt about it. I'm not a fan of the I'm a fan of the K&K in principle. I love how you put it in the guitar. There's nothing in the guitar, just the weight of the end pin, a little bit of glue, and you've got this pickup that can sound incredible. Some of the best sounds I've had have been from a K&K with external pedals on my live streams. But every time I try that pickup, and I've tried it like 12 times in different guitars, I always get ahead. I always end up swearing. Because I go to my gig and there's some weird frequency, there's some weird this, there's some weird that. It drives me nuts. So I don't use it. I need consistency at my gigs, right? The Cole Clark is consistent every single time. So in that respect, I would go for the LR Baggs Hi-Fi. Because with the Hi-Fi, I found, if you watch my review, I only had to notch out one of the main resonance frequency. So if you've got a preamp or a mixer with a notch on it, which you probably do if you're playing gigs, if you notch out that one frequency, then it's good to go anywhere. I had no problems with it, and it sounded very good. But I didn't even want that when my Cole Clark has no problem with feedback, and the Anthem has no problem with feedback. So the Anthem SL is a great pickup. Love that pickup so much, but it will require modifying the saddle, blah, blah, blah. You might not want to do that on that guitar. The I always tell people if you play out occasionally and you don't play loud, the K&K is a good way to go. I love the idea of it. But if you want something robust for stage, then I'd say the Hi-Fi is more stable in general. So the Hi-Fi with a decent preamp, like the Baggs Venue DI. The Baggs Venue DI and the Hi-Fi is a great combination. I personally am still using the Cole Clark because of the reason I said earlier. Someone said that the pickup sounds better than the guitar did. And I'm trying not to, like this guitar, I just won't put a pickup in it. I'm just not interested anymore in even considering like if something's rattling or changing the tone, because I'm too obsessive about that stuff. It doesn't work for me. But if I could do all this again and was playing full-time gigs, and my heart was set on a D28, for example, I would just buy 2 D28s that both sound awesome, and I put the Anthem SL in one, and I leave the other one fully acoustic. And then if I decided after a year they both sounded the same, I'd sell the one that was fully acoustic. And if I decided that one sounded slightly better and the pickup does affect the tone, I would keep both, one for recording as a backup and one for gigs. So Joe says, Baggs Hi-Fi or Anthem for decently loud bars. Anthem. And get the SL and do what I do. Install the controls. If you don't need the volume control, don't use it because you use pedals. Stick it further inside the guitar so you don't see it in the sound hole. There's nothing in the sound hole, and you can still use a feedback buster in the sound hole. It's more affordable. It's cheaper than the full Anthem. It is louder than the old. I think they made a change. Might be louder now, but the older Anthem was not as loud. It's a bit quieter. It's just great. The Anthem SL. And put the controls further up into the guitar. Super chat. Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it. I'll give you one of these. Been so long since I got a super chat, I can't find my sound effect anymore. Here we go. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And you get to go up first because you gave me a super chat. You get expedited. Thanks, Aaron. I'm going with the Hi-Fi. I have a K&K and a Taylor, and it works great through my artist box and my PA. But hang on, stop the clock. If you have a K&K and you're happy with it, with the rig you have, get a K&K because you're happy with it. Why try something else unless you want to try something else? If you this is the thing. I have to take my own experience out of this equation though. If you have a K&K and you're happy with it and it works with your rig, then get another K&K. Keep the consistency there. Keep it. Don't change it. For what I do, it never worked for me. It was always a complete pain in the butt. But if it works for you and your equipment and the way you play and where you play, get that again. Don't change. That's my advice. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. It means a lot for you to say that. Like I said, I really thought myself, yeah, a few weeks ago, I was thinking, this isn't a channel. This is a movie theater. I'm posting a video every now and again. There's no consistency on my channel. So I'm going to post regular videos about all different things, but, obviously guitar related. I've got some singing stuff as well I want to do. But it really means a lot to get those positive comments on the videos and see that people actually want me to make, sometimes you wonder, like, do people want the videos? So I need to know that. I think my plan is to do this full time until NAMM and then go to NAMM because I miss NAMM and I love NAMM and I love the people there. I think I want to do this as hard as I can to NAMM and then decide, is this growing? Is this worth all my time I'm putting into it? And, then decide, do I want to do something else on YouTube? Do I want to do something else with my music or whatever? But I'm really going to, what I'm trying to say is I'm really going to give this a push now. I think you have to. I think if you're going to do a channel, you have to make it a channel. I think the word there is YouTube channel, right? I was thinking to myself, when you turn on the TV, I don't have cable anymore, but if you have cable and you turn on to watch Shark Tank and it's not there, you're going to say, what's going on? Where's my show? I watch it every Monday. It's not there. And I feel the same way about YouTube. Like, I usually wake up and go through my subscriptions and watch an episode every day from the same channel. And that's almost because it's there. I know it will be there. So I think it's really important to be consistent with this stuff. But we'll see. You'll see my journey and I'm sure you'll learn as well, because I'll share with you how it goes, if it works or not. Mark Smith says, when you do a solo gig, how do you manage a sound check? I don't do them anymore because I just use the same settings. I am planning on recording my TC pedal directly into the computer to make some adjustments, because I think my levels might be slightly off at times. But I don't do a sound check anymore because my pedal stores the settings, and I use the similar speakers every time. I just plug in and just use the same settings. And also, I'm only using acoustic guitar and mic. There's not much to balance out. And the guitar does have the volume on it on the Cole Clark, so I can always make slight micro adjustments from the guitar. And I always have the speaker next to me so I can hear what the audience hears. I always have it behind me so I can hear what the audience hears. So yeah, I don't do a sound check. If I was going to do a sound check, I would record singing and playing with the looper and walk around the room, because you don't want to hear the sound of your guitar. That will affect how you hear the balance. Or if I'm using the Bose, I might walk out the front and play and listen. So, but yeah, I'm playing so much that I find I don't need to make changes, which is cool. I haven't worked out details from that. I'm going to book it soon, I think, because that might be cheaper flights and everything. Graham wants to talk about voice now. Okay, good. So can you talk a bit about how you look after your voice, especially when you've got a few longer covers gigs? So I have my gigs are all long in America because they're like 3 hours is the norm. And in England, I remember it was like 45 and 45. How easy I had it back then. Now it's 3 hours with a 10-minute break. Occasionally I don't take a break depending on the vibe and the people and the tips. But look, there's a few things with taking care of your voice. I mean, the first thing you have to tell people is everyone's body is different. You know, you can't just say, get 8 hours of sleep, don't drink coffee, drink lemon juice, lemon tea. You can't say that. Don't drink milk. Some people can drink milk and sing. Some people can drink milk and they can't sing. Some people can sleep an hour and sing fine. Some people need to sleep 10 hours to have a voice. You know, you've got to find out what works for you. That sounds like a cop-out, but it's true. Generally, rest is a great idea. If you can get a good night's sleep, drinking loads of water that day is obviously a good idea to hydrate everything, including the vocal cords. They need that hydration. And gentle warm-ups and things like humming is good. But honestly, I don't really do that stuff. Honestly, what I do, and I probably should make some adjustments here. I just try to pace myself. And honestly, the best thing you can do if you're a solo musician is buy a looper. I mean, if I didn't have a loop pedal, I could not do what I do, because I loop every song and I take a solo in every song. And what that does is that gives the voice a break. If you don't, let me know in the chat if you play acoustic guitar and do like open mics or gigs. Do you use a looper? Because there's no way I could gig every night for 3 hours a night without a loop pedal. I'm not saying I do like extended solos or anything, or even that I'm a particularly good soloist. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in taking some nice little tasteful solos in each song, you're extending each song, so you're doing less songs. And you can even like choose the next song, or speak to someone, or drink some water, or even just not play for a few seconds. If there's no loop pedal there, and you're basically having to strum the whole time because there's nothing going on if you don't, and then strumming can get boring, so you start singing more, then that's how you get tired, I think. I think a loop pedal is the first thing you should buy, for sure. And then just look after yourself, look after the body, drink lots of water. Obviously, don't eat chocolate before you sing. If I do have like a black coffee and no water and then sing, I get problems, so I have to watch that. It's really down to you. I think this is a good topic for a video. I'll talk about it. I've got a few kind of tips that I have learned recently as well. But again, they might not apply to everybody based on your DNA, so. But yeah, start by looking at your lifestyle and your diet and what works for you. And also pace yourself, because anyone will get a tired voice if they do too much. And then that's when it will start to have those potential issues. Oh, Jim, thank you. Look, another one. Awesome. You made my day, Jim. Your channel is unreal for gigging musicians like a lot of us. You have saved me a ton in time and money on gear. I can't test, but you have. Awesome. That's why I do it, to share that feedback. Thanks again for all your great content. Awesome. Really appreciate it. And I've noticed now there's more and more of these groups popping up for us, the solo acoustic musicians. There is actually a group on Facebook called Solo Acoustic Musician, which is a very interesting group, and it's the only group of its kind. I kind of wish I'd started one like that, to be honest, although that takes a lot of work to do those groups. So yeah, if anyone ever asks for a recommendation there, please suggest my channel, because I'd like to get the channel in front of more people's eyes, especially the people that do what we do, the solo gig thing. That'd be awesome. And yeah, that's the thing. I realize I have tried a lot of gear, and I enjoy trying a lot of gear. That does always, I usually lose money every time I do. So that's why I thought I'll try to turn it into a channel. And that's why I'm trying to see if I do the daily videos, if it becomes something that will at least offset the cost of doing that. And then if it doesn't, maybe I can't do it anymore, because I don't want to go broke over it. Or maybe it will transition into something else. That's why I'm excited to do the fundraiser for Hawaii, because that's then helping someone else out. So we'll see. What is the usable backline at your previous gigs that are provided by the venue? So more and more places will have like a powered speaker and a way to hook into their system to then spread it around the venue, and that's a really good thing. Let's face it, the problem with a lot of venues that provide the PA is the PA is often not very good, and I'd rather take my own. So often people just buy the cheapest thing, or it'll be broken, or the previous artist broke it, right? I would rather, in a way, if I could, always take my, if you drive and you can afford an EV50M and you don't mind picking that thing up, then just buy that and take it everywhere you go, because everywhere you go, you have the same sound, you know how to use the system, and you know that it will work when you get there. So just do that. If you take the train like me and you rely on them providing a speaker, so what I did with one place is I persuaded them to buy the QSC that I own myself. I don't know if they know that, but that's why I did it. So I have the same speaker there. I tell you, if they ever want to buy a cheaper speaker in the future, I couldn't handle it. I'd probably offer to loan them one of mine, because I just want, one of the venues I play at, I leave a speaker there, a CP8, which isn't as good as the K8, but it's pretty good. So I leave it there. So yeah, I value the good quality equipment, and of course, a lot of venues don't want to pay $1,000 for a PA if they can get one for 200. I understand that, but that's why sometimes I'd rather take my own equipment, and I always take my own cables. I always use my own microphone. Don't get me started on that. That's disgusting to use someone else's mic. And I've actually got people up singing. I now have people sing with me sometimes if I know they're good, and it can really make the gig. But I always have a spare mic with me, and they use that microphone. They never, if you touch my microphone, I don't get pissed off easily. But if you want to come to my gig and put your hand on my microphone, then you'll see the other side of me. Or touch my guitar. It happened a few weeks ago. Then you'll see what happens. Ay. All right. How about classical guitars with nylon strings? I always like the idea of them and the sound of them, but I just don't. It doesn't work for me. I like that gritty steel string sound. And I did know a guy that played a nylon string guitar, and it sounded really fat. He'd strum on it, it sounded really fat, but just not for me. I like to bend the strings too. I always use the K&K pickup with the preamp designed to be used with a belt. If buying a K&K pickup, carefully read the documentation regarding impedance. Yeah, some people tell me that it doesn't really matter if you can EQ it, because I've got a friend that plugs into whatever and then EQs it. But impedance helps as the first stage for sure, and their preamp does sound the best with it, because it is what they suggest, and that does work very well. And their preamp is very good. But I would find I'd still have to run their preamp for the impedance and to shape the tone into another EQ box to take out the frequencies that were feeding back. That could be a Martin problem, because the Martins are boomy. But I have to be honest on the channel, right? I love the idea of the K&K. I love nothing more than my own custom cutaway Martin with the K&K in it. Nothing in the guitar, light, and I tried that for so many years, but it just never worked for me. And I'm not new to sound, right? I know how to run a board. I know how to take out feedback. But when you have to do that, it's such a hassle when you're on your own. When I've got a guitar now that it feeds back occasionally because I've stepped in front of a speaker, something you can appreciate. But the K&K just didn't sound good enough for me for the hassles that it gave me. Have you flown with electric guitar as a carry-on recently? No, not for years. I haven't flown for years. And that NAMM will be the first time I've flown. I have a flight in Delta coming up in a few days. I mean, people use those Voyage Air guitars. When I used to fly to America before I moved here, I would fly with my Mini Mate. I miss that Mini Mate, and I shouldn't have sold it. I keep looking at new ones, but I don't really need one. But the Mini Mate used to go under the seat in front of me. So cool. I found a case that fit it perfectly. Canada is 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. Hey, if you play for 3 hours and everyone's having a good time and tipping you, that's fine. But if you're playing for 3 hours and it's a drag, then it can be a bit of a drag, I suppose. But it's just the way it is. Gigs are 3 hours, and that's why I say get yourself a loop pedal and learn how to use it. Perhaps we should do more videos on looping. I need to know, everyone watching, do you know what a looper is? Do you use a looper? Are you interested in getting one and learning it, or what? Tell me. Tell me. I need to know. I need research. So in Scotland, it's 2:45. You see, you don't know how lucky you are, Graham. 2:45. I remember in London, this was the norm. We'd get there at like 7:30. We'd start at 8, 8:45, stop. 9:15, go on till 10. So you're finishing at 10. You're having a 30-minute break. It just seems like heaven now. And I guess back then the money wasn't that different either, except we didn't get tips back then in England. And with tips in America, you can do well. Sometimes you don't get any. Sometimes you get a few. I kind of miss that. On the other hand, I think that was too short. Looking back, I don't know. Now I just judge it. Some nights I don't take a break because the flow is so good, and I feel like if I take a break, people will leave, and that's really bad for your voice. But sometimes I think it's worth it. Jensen, I'm very healthy, and you love your vids. Very healthy, and you love your vids. You love them, or I love them? I love them too. Is it wrong to say that? I mean, this is performance, isn't it? I love performing. That's why I do gigs full time. And I feel like when I do a video, I feel like I'm performing as well. I find talking in a loud bar can be much more stressful. Yes, you're absolutely right. There's times when I just tell people I can't talk with them. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because you're singing with the mic, and then you start playing, and they turn that background music too loud. And you're shouting, that's that shouting that's hammering the chords. You're absolutely right. You really shouldn't talk. Or you should make sure you step outside with someone or something. And I've noticed lately some of the bars do crank that music way too loud. So I would even put earplugs in while I pack away. Things like that can help. And they can help you hear better too when people are talking. Michael uses a looper. I always think of you not using one, but I know you have one on the board and I know you use it. But I never, whenever I see you play, no, I guess you do a lot of solos, like Sultans of Swing, right? Jensen says, "Can you shout me out?" Okay, Jensen live in the house. Is that okay? How many songs do you do in 3 hours? I have no idea. Now, some shows lately, I've started using a click track, which I'm absolutely loving the heck out of. And that means that the songs are basically then the same length as the original. So I could figure it out pretty easily. But each song, I would say, 3 minutes? So what's 3 minutes into 3 hours? You do the math, because I ain't good at math. There we go. Before a looper, I had to have more songs to compensate for lack of solos. And more songs means more singing and more wear and tear on the voice, right? Solo artists here, no loop pedal, never occurred to me. Well, didn't you just say that your gigs are not that long? So that's okay, but I mean, I find it, I do occasionally, I gigged yesterday without a loop pedal for an hour. I always miss it. Always miss it. Thanks again for the super chat, Jim. Really appreciate the support. I went through 3 sets of strings yesterday for that video because I wanted to use new strings on the guitars. You got to do things properly, right? I used to have to sing solos, which only sometimes works. Oh, you'd sing the guitar solo. That's interesting. I mean, playing the guitar solo is much better, right? Charlie, I play solo fingerstyle guitar without a looper, which is hard work sometimes. I just always wanted to be able to perform without any reliance on technology, but I'm tempted. Hey, if you can play fingerstyle instrumentals and don't need a looper, then don't use one. I mean, that's a lot of talent there, Charlie. That's awesome. But don't be afraid of technology. I'm actually working on something right now for my looper, which I'm going to be talking about in the future. It's a secret right now in case someone steals it. So I don't know if it's going to work out yet, but I'm investing in something that might help solo musicians. So I'll let you know more about that when it happens. It's currently under development. Jim says thank you. Yeah. So Michael and I went to help a venue out that we both perform at. I won't say where, and Michael knows why. You know, we don't want to tell people everything, right, Michael? That's an in-joke. But I mean, I'm not saying mean. They basically went on Amazon and got a great deal on a speaker, and then they got a discount on it. You know, it was very cheap. I totally get it. It's like I don't want to come across as mean here. Look, if someone's into painting and they told me to go and buy a paintbrush, I'd go and buy the cheapest paintbrush. I'm not going to buy. I'm into music. I'm not going to buy the cheapest speaker. I'm always going to push the venue to buy the most expensive speaker. But I understand they probably don't want to do that for many reasons, budget, and also other musicians. I'm sorry, musicians do not look after stuff when it's not their own. A lot of musicians don't look after stuff when it is their own. And I've seen so much gear get broken at venues and just get messed up. My QSC speakers still look brand new. In fact, most of my gear still looks brand new. And then you see speakers in venues like, I won't name names, but you see places, especially when I've traveled around America, just beat up gear. I understand why people don't want to invest in it, but you can't beat a great sounding speaker. So yeah, they had a very, very affordable speaker from Amazon, and my advice was that it really wasn't suitable for anything. So you do need to get quality stuff. Feedback could be a Dreadnought problem. No, I had the same problem with an OM. It could be a Martin problem because they're much more open, boomy guitars in general, but it's not a Dreadnought thing. I had a girl sing Valerie at my last gig. Everyone loved it way more than anything I did. Is that good? You know, have you ever done that gig where you're playing and no one seems to care and you're trying so hard and then someone's drunk and okay, my buddy's a great singer. Can my buddy sing a song or can she sing a song? And you say, yes, okay, fine. And they're kind of okay and they're out of tune and everyone's like, yeah. Everyone's taking pictures and smiling and cheering. And you're just thinking, well, it's just because you know them. Just because you don't know me, you don't care what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, I thought that was Michael. It's Rafa. I'm confusing people now. I had a girl. I guess Rafa. Sorry, I got you mixed up with Michael for a second. He did give me a kiss on the cheek at the end, which left me speechless. Wow, that was the highlight of your year, right? Wow, that's awesome. But did you feel the audience were giving her more support than you, or did they still say, "Yeah, Rafa, great job, man"? Or was it then all about her because that was her friend, right? How do you use a looper with the saxophone? It can be done. It can be done. If you just feed that mic from the sax into the looper. Beethoven has the 500. I love the 500. I've got the 600 now, but I prefer the 500. Slowly adding a looper and it makes a big difference. I have some friends that are masterful at looping. Digitech Jam Man works great. Yep. Yeah, definitely got to talk more about the loopers in the future. Graham, in reality, I usually play an hour and then do 50 minutes. I never know what to do with myself in the break. There's that too. Sometimes I just don't want to take a break and have to figure out what to do and go to the back and switch the music over and then walk around. And sometimes it's easier just to keep playing, right? Michael does 40 songs per 3-hour show. That seems low to me. 10 songs an hour? That's not right. But how long is the break, I suppose? I would appreciate your thoughts on loopers sometime. Yeah, the one I like, the Ditto, is out of stock. All the TC stuff is out of stock right now. I found a mint unopened one recently and I bought it. And that's really nice. Let's do it. I haven't been over to the website. I haven't done any shopping today. Let's just have a look here. Just a quick one here because I'm going to do videos on this in the future, but let me put myself on here. Where have I gone? Hang on. Always forgets the camera. There we go. So when these come back in stock, I love these 2-button Ditto loopers. So when these are back eventually, get one of these. The X2. This is a great one for most people. What I use is the VoiceLive 3 Extreme, which has the looper and everything built, and mixer and everything built into it, which is why I love it. These are also back ordered. I think TC are making more of these pedals, but they're looking for parts from what I've heard. This is my go-to right now. Love this thing. And you get 2 loops in there, or 3 loops actually. What I've been using with the Bose S1 Pro Plus is the EHX 720. It's really nice. There's only one thing I don't like about it. This is a really nice looper. It can store loops. It's easy to use. The only thing that annoys me about this looper is that when I press stop, I have to then press stop again and hold it down to delete, to clear the memory. On the Ditto, you can press stop and keep it held down and it clears the memory. So if you make a mistake on the Ditto, you can just hold stop and it's gone and back to where you want to be. On this one, you'd have to press stop and then press it again quickly and hold it down. An extra press. Otherwise, though, some features are better than the Ditto in a way. And these are in stock. So I like these. I also like the Boss for more functionality, the RC500. It's a good pedal. But if you're just getting into it, maybe start with one of these. This is a good pedal. All right. Back to the chat. Kevin is late. Why are you late, Kevin? Wanted to ask about the guitar parametric EQ and the VoiceLive 3 Extreme. Doesn't seem to be any videos. Oh, yes, you sent me a message. By the way, everyone's getting a... I say this every week, but sometimes I feel rude, but I have all these standard replies on all platforms now because with making a video every day and gigging, I just can't... I can't read... a lot of people have messaged me on Instagram and personal email and stuff. I cannot answer those. I haven't got time. So I'm just directing everyone here now on a Monday so we can answer it as part of the show and everyone can benefit from it. So please don't be offended if you get an automatic reply from me on a message. But this was one of the questions. Parametric EQ on the VoiceLive 3 Extreme. So I have to think about it because I don't use it very often. It seems weird at first, but it's actually very good. So the microphone has these sort of auto presets like the Play Acoustic does, and they work very well. You can also disable that and then do it manually. So I think I disabled that. I think I loaded the preset and then went in there and manually added like 2 dB of treble to my voice. So you can do that. So that's really cool. I think it's got both options. Or if it has just got if it has just got EQ, then that's more powerful than the Play Acoustic, which I like. For the guitar, I set it to flat. Either flat or acoustic amp. I can't remember which one it is on right now. And that gives you like 3 pre-parametric EQs, 3 post-parametric EQs, and the high pass and low pass filter. That's really powerful. It's a bit confusing. So what I would do is just use one. I would probably use the post EQ, like you'd have an EQ on the mixer. That would be your post EQ. Pre-EQ means before whatever amp is loaded. Now you can use both. So I would probably use the post EQ to do my 3-band parametric EQ. And then I would use the high pass filter to cut off everything below at least 80, if not higher, maybe up to 120 maximum, depending on your guitar and pickup system. And then you've got, if you need the other ones, they're there. So if you need the pre ones, you can still use them to like maybe notch out feedback. That's really powerful. That's like a 7-band EQ, right? So that's how you use it. And let me know if you've got any more specific questions about it. Thanks, Michael, for answering my question. Aaron swerved. What was the... Well, I just don't know. I told you to do the maths for me. 3 hours divided by, let's say the songs are 3.5 minutes each. I don't know what that is. You got to tell me. This isn't a maths discussion. This is a music discussion. And they say if you're good at math, you're good at music. So I don't know what that means. I guess that's why I'm buying gear. Rodrigo, my friend, tell me all about your experience with wireless systems. I'm after one for my acoustic, but I'm lost. Unreality, don't know if a Sennheiser EWD instrument set would be overkill. Sennheiser EWD, what's that? Let me see. So the EWD, are you talking about this one? Let me know. This one? Here's the thing with wireless systems. If you don't have to use them, I wouldn't use them because even the best ones can lose signal. Even the best ones have to be recharged. It's a lot of maintenance and work. It's nice to be wireless, and sometimes it can make the gig a lot better because you're wireless. But is it worth the hassle? So I use these ones. I fell out of love with these. These were always my go-to. These Sennheisers, right? And I told you before in a video that the battery died. Look, so you charge these up, you're ready to go. Really nice format. But the battery died for me on the XLR one after a year, and I had to pay to have it replaced. It really made me mad that they can't just put a decent battery in these things. But they're the only ones for me that sound and work incredibly well in this format. So I did buy another pair of each, the guitar and the mic. And I do like them, but I'm prepared for them to break again. Good news is Sennheiser will replace them or replace the battery for $70, which isn't too bad when I think how useful they are to own. So that's a really cool option, but you do have to keep them charged up. Now, the one on the screen is cool, but it's bulky. You got to carry it around. You've still got to charge the pack in the transmitter. Make sure that it's worth it, you know. I got that Shure one, the Shure with the 2 bands. And they also make one which is a tuner format. If you've got a pedal board like this one, I'd recommend this. The new Plus version has 2 bands in it, the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. If you have a pedal board, get one of these. Very, very usable tuner. You can mute the output. Battery lasts a long time. Just got to charge that battery in there. It's just one thing to think about. But it's a bit bulky, and you've got to put it on your belt, right? On your strap or whatever. So if you really want wireless and have a pedal board, I'd get this one. If you really want portability, I'd get the Sennheiser, but keep your eye on the battery life because that can be a problem. And Shure also make the rack version, which I bought. There's a rack version, and then there's the plastic tabletop version. I bought that one because it's cheaper and lighter, and weight is always so important to me. So I have this one. I didn't review it yet. But, you know, again, I got it really for a wedding. If I do a wedding and I need a wireless mic, I bought the wireless mic as well. I can have a wireless mic which will work. I think it's really important at a wedding that it works, especially for speeches and things like that. But really with wireless, you've got to spend the money. If you don't spend the money, you don't get quality. If you buy those $50 ones on the $50 ones on Amazon, they're fine. They can work, but they do not sound the same as the cable, and they can drop out. And the problem is as well, it might not drop out for you, it might drop out for me, and vice versa. So there's no consistency there with a lot of this wireless stuff like you get from a cable. So they're my 3 recommendations. This is very good. The pedal one's a great way to go because you have it on the pedal board and you've only got to charge, you know, it's already powered up. You just got to charge the transmitter. And then these are great, but you got to keep them charged up. I wish they'd make a charging case for these. That'd be a great accessory. The reason I love the Bose S1 Pro Plus, the wireless systems live in it and are always charged, but they are not, by Bose's own admission, as powerful. They don't have the range that these have. They don't have the quite the reliability of these. These are more powerful and use more power, I believe. So you really got to make your choice of that, or just stick with the cable because it's a lot easier and cheaper. $13 songs an hour. That sounds about right. Sounds unlucky. You better do 14 next time. 10-minute break. 10, 15-minute break at most. Oh, welcome, Marcia. Raphael's wife here. Hey, he was speechless indeed, but not as much when I kissed him. Keep that out of my chat. I don't want to hear these things. I thought you were going to say you were jealous. I didn't want to say anything, but I was going to say to Rafa, was your wife watching when the girl kissed you? And what happened after that? Did the new guitar get cancelled? Michael, I use discontinued Digitech Jamman stereo, which I like. I can hold down the stop if I make a mistake. Don't have to double tap. Right. I don't understand why the one I showed you has that. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. What are you talking? I think Rafa and his wife are drinking right now, so I'm not going to put those messages on the screen, Rafa. Go and enjoy that bottle of wine, and I'll see you next time. Right, Rodrigo, I haven't tried that system that you showed me. I've tried I like the Shure stuff, but if the one you showed me works for you and is available, then get it and let us know how it is. You can't really go wrong with those big wireless systems because they have more power in them because they're bigger boxes and they're plugged into the wall. So they usually work well. But the Shure is great because it has the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz in the one box. Jim, average night is 45 to 50 songs, 1 hour and 50-minute break for 2 sets and finish strong with 30-minute power set. Nice. You sound like Rodrigo at the gym. This Shure one is awesome. It is. It's awesome. You should get that one. Approximate 16 songs in 1 hour. That's 48 in 3 hours. But then you have to factor in talking. Yeah, don't do that too much. I think it's good to talk, but I don't like to tell stories, you know. Some songs are long. Yeah, like American Pie and Sultans of Swing. Approx 16 songs in 1 hour. Oh, no. The Boss 500 has a microphone input, but need a good microphone. Yes, true. It does have a mic. That's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that. It does have a microphone input. Yes. Since I'm doing a lot more wedding events, I'm going the wireless path. I got myself the Sennheiser microphone system. Thinking about the instrument one. That's why I was asking. I have mixed thoughts on wireless because sometimes I feel like a lot of people have gone wireless that I've seen the last few years, but they just stand still and play wireless. I don't really get it. I guess it looks a bit cleaner not to have the cable. I guess sometimes the cable gets in the way of our pedals, but you just got to find a way to secure it better. I don't know. I just think that the hassle of the wireless makes it a little bit annoying. I wish, like I said, imagine if Sennheiser made a case for this that protected them and kept them charged in between gigs for like 10 gigs. That would be amazing. Then I'd be happy to charge it every 10 gigs. But I have to bring these home every time and charge them up in the room. That's kind of a hassle, I think. She wasn't there, but I reported it. Yeah, I bet you're bragging about it, right? Guess what happened at my gig tonight? Did you make a YouTube video about it? Have you got it on film? Actually, no, I don't want to see that. Rodrigo, the portable Sennheiser you showed lasts only 3 hours. That's a good point. Yeah, actually 4 hours, but it's a bit, yeah, it can be a bit iffy on a longer gig. I agree. Right. Okay. Yeah. These are great. If you can justify the expense of these, they're great to have around, but they are not perfect. If these had 6-hour battery life and had a charging case that you could put them in between sets and between gigs, and the batteries didn't die like they have died for me over the years, then it'd be amazing. But we're still waiting for that product. Check out the Shure. I really like the Shure. I've got one. I'm going to make a video on it because I stupidly haven't made a video on it yet, and I've got it here. That'll be coming soon. Thanks, Aaron. Entertaining, informative as always. What time next week? So let me tell you what time I'll be on next week because it all depends on the gigs. Next week I'll be on at 4 again. I might change the time. I quite like this. I quite like 1 o'clock. I gotta admit. How are we doing for viewers? 23. Yeah, so it's about the same. And then week after that, I'm doing 5 o'clock. I've got a gig again, so I can't do it that week either. Week after that is Labor Day, so that can be any time. Then I've got a gig again, then nothing. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll keep mixing it up. I'll see what happens. Next week will be at 4 o'clock unless you hear otherwise. And then the week after that will be 1 o'clock. It'll be either 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock EST, and I'll make a decision to stick with one of those times based on numbers. Does your English accent help or hinder your career? That's a great one. I really don't know. I think it may have helped when I first moved to America because, something different. I sing with an American accent, so watch my videos. I sing with an American accent, so it doesn't really matter then. And then, maybe it helps as a talking point and hinders as a talking point because then it's, oh my God, you've got a British accent, but you sing with an American accent. Why is that? And all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. it helped me in my career to move somewhere else. I got a lot of negativity. I was full time in England, but I remember I'd go to new venues and they just like shut you down all the time. And when I moved to America, it was more like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try a gig. Let's try an event. Let's try a night. Let's try music. But I don't know to this day whether that's the attitude in America versus England at the time, or if it was my brain, like my mind. Like I'm here with, back then I had one guitar, the Mini Maton, and one suitcase. I had my electric as well, my black telly. That was it. And I had to make it work. So my mind was more like, let's go, rather than another gig. I'll gig tonight. Everything's fine. Everything's coasting along. Fine. I'll go and see if I can get a gig there. Different outlook in the mind. And I kind of feel like that now with YouTube. Like, it's exciting to make a video every day because it's like, oh, I'm trying something. I'm trying to say, right, it's going to work or it's not. Let's do it. I think that's a good way to be. But who knows? I still wonder now what if that was true or not. I definitely tried harder because I had to prove myself, right? I have a nephew in Tampa who his English accent because it opens doors for him. Oh, exaggerated it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it did. I like to think that I got gigs because I'm good at playing songs, but maybe it did. I don't know. I'm sure some places haven't hired me because I'm British. No one's ever told me that, but I'm sure people have preference sometimes. Sergio's at a bar for a music jam right now. I'm thinking about what to buy a recorder to record jams. Oh, this one. Tascam Porta Capture X8. This is such a great. I'm going to do a video on this week. This is such a great record. This is amazing. These mics. I'm now using these mics on the guitar reviews. These mics are great. I use them on the amp as well for the amp review. The mics are great. It's got all these inputs and it records all the tracks separately. So if I do an interview and I have a mic plugged into each input and one person's holding a mic and I'm holding a mic, it will record them both on here separately. And it doesn't distort because it's got the unlimited headroom from the processing, the high bit processing. It's so good. Poo Ninja, let's see what Poo Ninja's got to say to wrap this video up. I'm going to look back through your old videos and see if your accent has changed since you've come to the States. My accent hasn't changed, but the way I speak in videos has really changed. When I first made videos, or when I was trying to grow the channel back in 2018, if you watch those videos, I talk really soft. It's really funny. If you watch it now, I say, hi, this is Aaron Short, and welcome. I don't know, I think maybe I was self-conscious that I was doing a video. Maybe the neighbors would hear me. And I was literally like, hi, this is Aaron Short, and I'm going to be talking about the Porta Capture X8 today. So I guess I was a bit more British. I'm a bit more brash now. But it's more of a confidence thing. Now I'm just talking as I would talk on stage to the camera. I'm performing more than back then. I was just kind of, I don't know, it's really, go back and watch one of my old videos from like 2018. When I'm sitting in the corner of this room with the blue light on and the big mic in front of me. It's really quite funny. And yeah, I wonder why that suddenly changed. I think I just got more confident speaking to the camera because you have to work on this stuff, right? And it really helps with your gigs as well. Because then when you talk on the mic at the gigs, you're talking like this and not like this. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone, thanks for listening. It's been great to see you here today. Look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great night. That's the difference. People seem to think that a British accent makes a person sound intelligent. I don't know, but I believe you're sincere and honest. You're absolutely right. Check this out. Ready? We'll do a test. What is 1 + 1? 3. You believe me, right? Because I said that with a British accent. I don't think being British makes you sincere and honest at all, John. I just try to be sincere and honest because I do have a conscience, and I've done this for a while, and sometimes there's a video I want to make and I don't want to make it for certain reasons, and I've had to iron all that out to know what I want to do on this channel. I've been through a lot of stuff, and some of that stuff I've put on here, and some stuff I haven't. But I think what I've come to now is a place where I just want to talk about stuff that I like, that help, that I believe I want to talk about. Basically, I don't. When you first start YouTube, it's easy to kind of think, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? what if I do this wrong? What if I do this right? And a bit like my voice went from kind of being soft and nervous because I was in front of the camera. The more you get confident about being in front of the camera, the more videos you make, I think you can. Well, I mean, it's not everyone. Some people will then move into certain areas of sales and things, but I personally have just got more into like I just want to talk about what I do. And I realized last week actually I spend a lot of time talking to people and texting people about gear, and that's why I started the daily videos. I realized I should just put that on camera and just talk to the camera and make it into content for everyone to see, rather than just go on a forum and give my opinion there and email people and text people about gear. It's much better for me just to come on here and make a video, and then that will grow the channel and it will be exposed to more people. So that's kind of a mindset change I've had recently. It's working well for me, I think. Confidence, I believe. Your hair is better too. What, now or back then? I liked my hair back then. It was a bit messy though. Modern recorders, all right, sound pretty well. Yes, but the one I showed you has this 32-bit float recording. It's impossible to distort it. That's amazing. That's a complete game changer. Don't like that word game changer, but that is a game changer. The fact that I can take that to a trade show, just record at a high level, and then bring it home and use the audio. You can't always do that. You've got to monitor the audio all the time. That Tascam is awesome. And eventually they'll all have that feature. I hope they do. All music gear needs that feature. It's amazing. Anyway, it's been an hour and a half. I better wrap things up. I want to thank you for the super chats today. It really helps me out, from Jim Waller. And if you want to use my links to buy anything, please do. Click on them before you buy stuff, and it helps. They're affiliate links, so that helps me. And if you're not spending money, you don't have to spend money. Please just share my videos with anyone that's into gear. If you talk to people about gear, and like I have done in the past a lot, please send them some of my videos so they potentially subscribe and watch the videos as well. My goal is really to get my views up to like 1,000 per video. That'd be a good place to get to. So yeah, video coming tomorrow, 8 a.m. every day, and back here next week at the usual time of 4 o'clock EST. Have a great week. If you're new, please subscribe and ring the bell. Really appreciate it. I had that info box turned off, so I missed any subscribers that came today. I apologize. Yeah, subscribe and ring the bell. Share this with your friends. Watch all the videos. Leave me a comment on the videos. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you live next week. And if there's anything, do turn on notifications and make sure they're enabled on your device, because if there is like a new piece of gear come out, I will just go live and react to it. I really want to react to like those new Martin guitars that are coming out, because there's some pretty mixed feelings online about them. So I'd like, the minute I hear about them, I want to just go live and make the video there and then and react in real time. So make sure notifications are turned on, because sometimes they're not turned on by default. All right, everyone, take care and be well. Lots of stuff coming. I'll see you soon. Let's make sure. I missed a few comments. Hang on. Oh, no, just a thanks. Thank you, man. Good to see you. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'll see you soon. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
I'm not lost, but I'm not